Hey you guys, welcome back to K&KInspired Creations with Latara. So today I'm going to show you guys how I made 2 Juneteenth patriotic door hangers that are simple to make with mostly Dollar Tree products. So I started off by grabbing one of the wire wreath forms that you can get from Dollar Tree, as well as this like checkered black and red ribbon. I also got this from Dollar Tree as well. And the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to go ahead and tie it into a bow so that I can go ahead and put it at the bottom of the wreath, and it'll give me kind of let me know where to stop when I start putting the cute little clothes hangers that I also got from Dollar Tree on here. So I'm tying my bow really quickly. I'm not very good at tying bows or telling people how to tie bows, but you can always find a really good tutorial on YouTube. So definitely just, kind of research that. And now I'm going to cut it so that they're cut at like a cute little angle, because this is going to go at the very bottom of the wreath. So once I get that done, I'm going to start on the middle of the wreath. So I got just like this round piece of cardboard, and I'm painting it black. And the purpose of that is because I am going to basically put like an image in the middle of it. And I don't know, just the black looked better than the brown, and pretty much any other color that I decided to put on there. So I'm just going to set that to the side to dry. And so now we're back on this. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on so that while I am working on the wreath, I don't, forget how much space I need for the bow. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue it down just to kind of like make my life easier. And I'm going to glue it from the top part, but I'm also going to turn it over and glue it here as well, because, it's only a small amount of that it's connected to the wreath. So I wanted to make sure it stays. So I did go to Dollar Tree and get a pack of like the clothespins. And what I did is I just painted a whole bunch of the clothespins. I pretty much used the whole pack and just counted how many to color, divided it by 3, and just painted them basically. I did red, I did green, and I did yellow, because those are basically the colors for Juneteenth. And at this point I am alternating them so that they go all the way around the wreath. I actually saw this or something similar to this, I want to say on Facebook. I can't exactly remember exactly who it was, but I will find it and I will make it a point to put theirs in the description so that you can see how they made theirs as well. I don't think theirs was a Juneteenth one. I'm not sure what it was, but this is where I got the inspiration for this from. And so I'm just kind of counting it to make sure that I have enough so that it's kind of like spaced around, evenly. If I did this again, I don't know, I would probably get a second pack and maybe use half of the pack just to make the wreath look fuller. I feel like it wasn't as full as I had hoped, and that's more so because I ran out of clothespins. But even with that being said, it still came out really nice. So I'm just kind of putting it all the way around, counting it, pretty much just moving it around when I need to give the spaces that I want. And I am going to have some gaps in this, but I'm definitely going to show you guys how I dealt with the gaps in this. So yeah, and while I'm doing that, I do want to take a moment and just thank you so much for watching this video. You can be watching anybody else's video on the planet, but you're watching mine, and I'm so appreciative of that. This is actually going to be one of my longer videos. I don't do mostly videos over like 10 to 15 minutes. Most of my videos are under 10 minutes, but because Juneteenth is right in a couple of weeks, I wanted to double up some of my tutorials. And since these are both door hangers, or you can use them as wall hangers, I figured it'd be a pretty good surprise to put them both in the same tutorial. So yeah, and if this is your first time here, welcome to my little pastel bakery corner of the internet. And if you're returning, hey, fake bake bestie, thank you so much for coming back. Here we create fake bake desserts, seasonal decor, and fun DIY pieces that look good enough to eat. So if that is your vibe, go ahead and subscribe. And if you have made it this far, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment. Let me know, are you somebody who celebrates Juneteenth? I feel like Juneteenth is a holiday for every American because it's for everybody. So yeah, definitely check this out. Let me know if you remake it. I'm also going to see if I can add a picture right now of another person who actually seen this last year and recreated it and then sent me a picture. So I absolutely love that. and I thought that was so cute. So this is where I noticed that, okay, I don't have enough clothespins, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to fill these gaps. So I didn't have a lot of florals, fake florals laying around, but I did have 4 yellow ones. They're not all the same. 2 of them are the same, the other 2 are the same. So I just went ahead and used my scissors, cut the little wire off the bottom, and then I'm just going to go ahead and glue them to the reform so that they can cover up that little space. And it actually turned out really nice. I don't know if I would change it. I don't know if I would use the different colors. I don't think so. I think I really like the way that it came out. And I did just use some hot glue to glue them onto it because, you know, flowers are very lightweight. So I didn't need anything, you know, too strong to get it to stick to the wire or the reform. And after that, I'm just going to basically work on the middle of the wreath again. So this is, I think I pretty much found this printout on Google. So, but I can always put in the description, because I'm sure I still have this saved somewhere. So if you would like this file, just let me know. Leave me a comment and I'll go ahead and send it to you. But yeah, so I just wanted to go ahead and Mod Podge this to the little black thingy on the back, the little cardboard, because the cardboard is big enough to fill the middle of the wreath, but this picture was not. And that's why I went ahead and did it black, because on the front you have the red, the yellow, and the green. So I wanted to make the black pop a little bit. And I am going to also Mod Podge the front of it, because since it is going outside, and if you live somewhere where I'm assuming it kind of rains everywhere, not all the time, but at some point. So this kind of seals it and protects it from the weather, the elements, all that good stuff. So you can use any type of Mod Podge or sealer. I am using, I want to say this is glossy Mod Podge, but you can use matte or any of that. And I'm just basically sealing it. I'm patting it just to seal the whole thing. I'm also going to seal the black as well, because I want it all to look the same color. I want it all to look pretty uniform, and I want it all to be protected. So that's pretty much all I'm doing here. And as you can see, this project didn't take long to do at all. I'm literally almost done. I am going to use my hot gun to make it dry faster so that I can go ahead and finish this project, but you can allow it to just sit for like, you know, a few minutes, and it'll dry on its own as well. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the center, and it just finishes off the entire piece. So I am going to use hot glue again. I don't think you need anything stronger than that, but for some reason I was having a hard time getting this in there. I had like 2 or 3 takes of having to take it off and peel the hot glue off and put more hot glue on there and put it in there. It just was not working for me that day. But I did get it on there nice and straight, and it looks perfect. And basically, once I get this on there good and set a little bit, I'm going to turn it over and add a ton of hot glue to the back. The main goal was to obviously get the hot glue to make the sign in the middle stick and stay, but as well as the clothespins. I didn't want the clothespins moving around at all, so I put hot glue like all over the back of this just to make sure everything stayed. Check out the final reveal to see how it looks at the end. So the second project we're going to do is we're going to make another one. I grabbed all of this from the Dollar Tree, both of those little wood boxes, as well as that sign. That sign, I can't remember what's on the other side of it, but it is an actual sign. There's stuff on the other side, but I just like the shape of it. And so since the back of it is, you know, there's nothing going on the back, I was like, okay, I can definitely just rework the back of it and not even worry about the front of it, not have to worry about covering it, because it's just going to go against the wall or against the door. So I started off by doing this little red streak along the, and it wasn't a perfect streak. I just needed it to be there to kind of allow me to do what I envisioned in my head. So I just grabbed some red acrylic paint that I got from the Dollar Tree, did like a stripe across it, and then I'm going to use my hot gun later on to just dry it so that I can finish this project tonight. Now I'm just trying to make sure these are the same size, and I'm going to paint these yellow. So since the colors are yellow, red, green, and black as well, so I wanted to go ahead and paint these yellow. So that's what I'm going to do now. And the paint, this yellow paint is also from Dollar Tree, but of course you can get paint from anywhere, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, all that good stuff. But Dollar Tree's paint, acrylic paint, actually works out really, really well. I ended up doing only one coat because the coverage was actually really good, come to think about it. Yeah, don't sleep on Dollar Tree paint because I only had to do one little coverage of it. And as you can see, it's not a bright yellow that I'm using. It's kind of like an orangey yellow. When I think of Juneteenth colors, sometimes I see yellow and sometimes I see like an orangey yellowish color. When I made this particular one, I was kind of going for that orangey yellow color, not like too bright of a yellow color. But you can pretty much do it however you want. You don't have to do it exactly the same colors and stuff that I did. So once I do that, I'm just going to let it sit to the side and dry while I finish working on the rest of it. So like I said, I'm going to use my hot gun to finish drying that because the red did not dry while I was painting, which I had hoped it would, but you can always just set this to the side and allow it to dry. So the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to do a stencil, and I didn't have a stencil that was this big, like as big as I wanted. So I got these little sticker letters from Dollar Tree, and they come with a ton. So I basically spelled out Juneteenth, and once I got them all on there, I was like, okay, it's not enough space to spell out the word Juneteenth. So what I ended up doing is kind of alternating up and down, as you can see, like one letter high, one letter low, that kind of thing. And that made it to where the word Juneteenth was able to fit in that little space that I had created with the red paint. And so what I'm doing now is just taking the paper off and just getting them to stick to it, because I'm going to obviously paint over it. The green that I had was like this really, really, really dark green, and that's not the green that I wanted to use for this, so I added just a little bit of white to it. That was green acrylic paint from the Dollar Tree. And so I'm using some painter's tape that I also got from the Dollar Tree, so that I can paint and not go too far, kind of make it look kind of straight, that kind of thing. The reason why you use painter's tape. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to alternate colors between the green and black. So I'm going to alternate between green and black. And I did it at like an angle, kind of diagonally instead of up and down, just to give it a little cute little something to it. But of course, like I said, you can do it however you want. Definitely make this project your own. Now, I'm not going to lie, I think I did have a little bit of bleeding with the green using this painter's tape. I will say that the painter's tape from Dollar Tree is not the best. It does the job to an extent, but if you do want better painter's tape, I would go somewhere else to use that. But if you're not looking for like perfection, then yes, Dollar Tree's painter's tape works just as well. So from far away, it doesn't really look like there's much bleeding. You can kind of see it up close, but it's not bad. Like I said, it's not horrible. So when I start painting with the black, I'm not going to use painter's tape. I didn't really feel like I needed to. And again, I don't really look for perfection when I'm crafting. I'm really just trying to have fun and, make whatever it was I saw in my head. I am going to use my little hot gun to just go ahead and dry it because I'm trying to finish this project now. But you can always let it sit to the side and dry overnight. You can do a second coat too if you don't like how the color came out. And so the next thing I'm going to do is just do black acrylic paint as well from the Dollar Tree and just kind of fill in all of this space that I left, blank in between the greens. And that's where I'm going to do the black acrylic paint. So I am actually really proud of how this sign came out. I don't make a lot of signs. It's never really been my thing. I'm more of a fake baker, but sometimes I'm like, a sign is necessary for the seasons and stuff like that. So that's why I went ahead and made this one as well as the one before. But I mean, I just feel like it came out pretty good. Like I said, signs are not really my thing. I don't make too many of them. I would make one and use it over and over and over again before I take the time to make another one. But the signs at Dollar Tree are like, the backs of them are really good blanks to use instead of having to try to find wood. It works out really well. So keep that in mind when you're in Dollar Tree. You can always use the back of signs if you like the way it looks. And so now I'm going to peel up the little stencil that I made so that the letters come up and spell out Juneteenth. There was a little bleeding with these as well, but I figured it would because these letters are kind of cheap. So the good thing is that they did come off easily. That's kind of a good thing that they're cheap, because they did peel off easily. If they weren't as cheap, it might have been a lot harder to peel off, but like I said, I'm not looking for perfection, just, cuteness. And so I did also get this stencil right here from Dollar Tree as well. This one, I just wanted to paint the year 1865 and small letters above Juneteenth. I did wipe off the acrylic paint after each use because I didn't want it to smear when I was putting down the other numbers. And then I did go ahead and dry it with my heat gun so that I didn't smear the numbers as well. So I'm just going to do that all the way across with 1865. And as you can see, this particular project versus the other one, it's a lot of parts to it. It's definitely going to take a little bit longer than the other one did. So this is something you can finish over a couple of days, or you can just sit down and finish it in one day. It's just going to take some time, but I think it's worth it. It came out really, really nice. So I guess it just depends on what you have going on. And if you are still watching at 17 minutes, definitely let me know in the comments. Say I'm still here. You are definitely the MVP. You are a trooper if you are still watching after all this time. I'll sit and watch a hour-long crafting video, but I know that's not most people's cup of tea. So if you're still watching after 17, almost 18 minutes, you are awesome. And definitely put it in the comments for me. Let me know. So since I am done with that, the next thing I want to do is start working on the bottom of this sign. So I did get these two little boxes because I wanted to put fake flowers in them. So I did get this little square thing of foam from the Dollar Tree, and it was a little too thick, so I just cut it in half using a knife. This was before I bought my little styrofoam cutter, which would have been easier, but you use what you have. So I cut it in half, used some hot glue just to get it to stay. I didn't want it moving around or popping out or any of that stuff. And then I grabbed, my wood glue. And then I figured out basically which side, because these wood pieces, they're a little different, depending on how as you can see, look, I have to figure out where it goes so it can match up really well. But once I do that, I am going to take some wood glue, as well as some hot glue, and attach them together. And the reason for the wood glue and the hot glue is because the wood glue is for a long-term hold, and obviously the hot glue is just for a hold right now, just so that I can kind of get this project done. But the wood glue is going to make sure that this stays together forever. I would have to throw it into the street and stomp on it to make these two pieces come apart, and that still might not be enough. So yeah. So next thing I did is I took some moss. You can use, Dollar Tree has two different types of moss. This moss that I'm using is not from Dollar Tree. This is something I had left over from something else. But Dollar Tree has raw moss. It has reindeer moss, and it has I Another one. I believe the reindeer moss is green, like much more greener, which would have been really nice for this since it is for Juneteenth, and Juneteenth is like kind of in between summer and spring. But this is the only moss that I had on hand, and it still worked out really well. It's for a bed of flowers, so I feel like, you know, the color doesn't matter that much, but the green would have been nice because obviously the time of year, and as well as the fact that green is one of Juneteenth's, you know, signature colors. So, but again, either way, it worked. And like I said, Dollar Tree has both types, so you can always choose which one you like better. And so now I'm going to go ahead and glue this on so that I can start working on my flowers. And I am going to do the exact same thing that I did before. I'm going to use that wood glue, and then I'm going to use some other hot glue just to get it to stay down. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and tie a ribbon for this. And of course I'm going to add a ribbon to it. It wouldn't be like, I wouldn't feel like it's a finished product if I don't put a ribbon on there somewhere. I feel like all of my wreaths, door hangers, like I feel like they all have some type of ribbon on them. And if I don't, it doesn't feel finished. So I'm pretty much tying it to the best of my abilities. I only know how to tie bows one way. Or I know how to do a messy bow. The sucky thing about this is that I can't make the bows that big because I'm using my fingers to make the bows, and my fingers aren't that big and they're not that long. So my bows are all pretty much the same size, but they do come out pretty cute. So I can't complain about that. So I do actually like the way that I ended up putting this bow on here. I had it going across the top and down the side. I thought that was a little unique. That's not really how I've put, you know, any bows on any of my wall hangers or door hangers before. So I don't know, I just kind of like the way it made it look. It made it look a little bougie. And I am just using a couple of beads of hot glue to get it to stay. And of course that's because, you know, ribbon is very light, so there's really no reason that it would come off. I did get it to where it went around the H on Juneteenth so that you can still read that it does say Juneteenth easily. But I love this bow, and I love this pattern for Juneteenth, and I just love the way that it came out. I genuinely love the way that it came out. And so I did make these little fists out of air dry clay, and I don't know why my son is fighting me to put it where he wants, but I'm going to just put it next to the 1865 and just glue it there so that they're so cute. I end up making those into magnets as well. So I was like, okay, I need something to go right here on the front of it, but I didn't want to do a bow. I ended up getting these little, they're like knobs, like, I don't know if I would say they're doorknobs, but they're knobs to something. And I ended up getting a bag of these at this like kind of like thrifty spot or whatever. I think I paid like maybe $1 or $2 for like a full bag of these. I still have a ton of these. So I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and put those on there because it kind of makes it look like a drawer in a way. And I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and paint them. I didn't want it to be the unfinished color because it doesn't really match, you know, the aesthetics of what I'm doing so far. So I just took the time to go ahead and paint it. I painted it that green, red, and black. Since the drawers are yellow, it made sense just to do the other corresponding colors. And if you can't like find anything like this, trust, if you go to Dollar Tree and look in the crafting section, I'm sure you can find something that could work just as well. Oh, something else that would have been cute, you know, the little fists that I made. I used those. I ended up buying a fist mold on Etsy. I'm like 99% sure it was on Etsy. If I could find the link, I'll put it in the description as well. And I made a couple of different color fists. If I wouldn't have had these, I probably would have just put like 2 fists there. I think that would have been really cute too, kind of thinking about it now. But you can kind of put anything there. You can put like a flower there or like a wood bead, pretty much anything. I just kind of thought that it was a little boring to leave it blank like that, you can always leave it blank like that. You can always put a picture there. You can pretty much do anything right there, but I decided to go with just putting these little wood handles on there. I thought it kind of finished off the piece perfectly. And if you are still hanging with me, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Definitely put in the comments, I'm still here ×2, so that I know that you're still rocking with me with these, crafting or whatever you want to call it, DIYs for Juneteenth, the upcoming holiday. And so I am going to use my heat gun to go ahead and dry it quickly. If you don't have a heat gun, I would say that it's a really good investment. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them on Temu as well. I think I got mine off of Temu and it works excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and glue my knobs onto the front of it. I'm going to use wood glue, of course, and I'm going to use that little bit of hot glue as well, just to kind of get it to stay right now, since I'm trying to finish this project tonight, or at least majority of this project tonight. So pretty. So on to the next part. Now, I did wait and do the rest of it the next day. I got tired. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to make the flowers. You can always buy florals, fake florals from the Dollar Tree. But sometimes I like to make my own florals. So I do use just the flowers sometimes, and I keep the stems because I do like to make my own flowers sometimes. So that's what I did, and that's why I have these stems here. I used the flower parts and kept the stems for a different project. So I'm just kind of cutting them down to get them around the same size and to get the amount that I need. I think I'm going to use 2, 4, 6, maybe 7 of these. And so this is another little square of foam that I got from the Dollar Tree, and that's just to help them stand up. If you lay them on the side, they'll get flat on one side, and I hate the way that looks. So I do use these little measuring spoons that I got from the Dollar Tree when I'm trying to get things to be around the same size. This air dry clay I actually got from Dollar Tree as well. I don't know if you remember during Valentine's Day, they had the little heart-shaped containers that contained air dry clay. So I ended up getting a couple of them back then and never used them. So I needed red and I needed yellow. And so that's what I needed. I already had green, but the red and the yellow actually used from those little containers. So when you see stuff, go ahead and grab it. Even if you don't think you're going to use it now, you can most definitely use it later. So I'm just using, so I just wrote them all into little balls. So that they were all pretty much the same size. I had small ones and I had medium sized ones. And so I do have some green air dry clay this is the air dry clay that I actually get off of Amazon. And so that is just going to be the little, I don't know if you would call it the bud in the middle of the flower. Like the petals are around this part of the flower. I don't know if that makes sense. And then the next thing that I usually do is I flatten out all of my little flowers. So I roll them real good, and then I flatten them out really good and kind of go from there. Once I get them all flat, then I start to add them to the little green bud that I have sitting right there. And making flowers is probably one of the easiest things to do, and probably one of my favorite things to do. You can do any colors, any size. They came out so pretty. People are always impressed because it seems very, very time consuming. It's not. But they come out so pretty, and they're great for like gifts for Mother's Day. I made some into pins. Yeah, this is definitely something cute that you can learn. I'm actually I believe I'm going to slow it down when I start putting them onto the little bud so that you can see it clearly. And all you're really doing is just kind of connecting it at the bottom. That's all I can really say. I learned how to make these watching somebody do it on YouTube. I'm going to see if I can find that tutorial, but it was a couple of years ago that I watched it. Now I kind of just know how to do it from repetition. But yeah, you can definitely try it. Just grab you some air dry clay from Dollar Tree. They'll be having it at Dollar General. You can get it off of Amazon. You can get it off of a lot of different creators off of what is it called? Facebook. Designs by Janira is where I get a ton of my air dry clay from. But when it does come to roses and the flowers that I make, the more firm the clay is, the better. The cool thing is that Designs by Janera, she does have soft air dry clay and firm air dry clay. So if you were going to get your air dry clay from her and support her, I would get firm if you were planning on making flowers. And if you notice, as it gets closer to the top, I kind of like flatten out the top of it so that it kind of goes around, if that makes sense. It's really hard to describe what you're doing, but it should hopefully make sense of what I'm doing. And there it is. It came out so pretty as usual. I'm just putting the little leaves back onto the stem, and then I'm just going to sit it in there just to dry. I did use a little silicone glue just to make sure that the stem didn't move, to make sure that the flower didn't move, just that kind of thing, just to get it to stay. So I'm going to do the same thing. As you can see, I already made 2 of the reds. I'm going to do the same thing by making 2 of the yellows. I'm also going to make 2 of the black. No, 2 of the green. And then I'm going to make 1 black, which I've never really seen a black flower. I don't think, not a real one, but it goes with, you know, the colors of Juneteenth. So of course I had to put a black one in there. But I'm pretty much doing the same exact thing that I did with the red ones with the yellow. So I already made my 2 yellow ones. Now we're working on the green ones. And definitely let me know in the comments, what are you doing for Juneteenth? Are you cooking out? Are you kind of just hanging out? Going out to eat? I believe my mom is cooking out again this year. She cooked out last year for Juneteenth. And of course, me and my son went over there to eat. So I'm hoping that she does the same thing again this year. I was telling her she normally makes like a cake, but me and my brothers and family been eating like their cakes for years and years and years. So I'm like, can you make something different, like a pie, you know? So hopefully this year she makes a pie. A strawberry cream pie would be amazing, but if she wanted to make like a peach cobbler, I'll be happy with that too. I'm just so tired of cake. She makes red velvet and it's delicious, but you know, if you've had it, you know, over and over again, at some point you're just kind of like, can you make me something else? Now, I don't have any footage of me putting my flowers actually into my little flower thingy for the sign. I think I lost a whole bunch of footage, that as well as my fake Juneteenth cakes, because I can't find that anywhere. Here's the final reveal. It came out amazing. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. And until next time, keep it sweet and keep it creative.